Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I know there was a little bit of a break on the channel. I didn't get to record on the Sunday, so I didn't have content for the Monday. So just trying to catch you guys up with all of the practice games. I hope you guys enjoyed me with the review crew on the center bounce, and how that went. So in terms of how I'm going to restructure this, because I wasn't able to record, you're going to see GWS Carlton today alongside Gold Coast Sydney. Those two will be standalone games because I was able to watch them pretty much in full. And then the Saints, Port, West Coast North and Freo Melbourne games, I wasn't able to really catch. So I'm just going to do a all-encompassing game review for all three of those in one video, just to get you guys up to speed, as we do have stuff. I do have stuff planned for the Wednesday and the Thursday, obviously dependent on the news that we get. I would suspect in the next little bit about the Brisbane Geelong game. That may push some of the bigger videos like season predictions and stuff like that, and tips back a day or so, which will probably help me out a little bit. But anyway, let's just jump in and get this on. So, GWS against Carlton. What happened? So, if you actually look at this, a weird game in general. One thing we do have to remember is that GWS had a lot of their players play in a VFL scratch game, etc. So some of their players low tog for that reason. But Whitfield, 97, when you extrapolate that to his regular, time on ground, you get that out to a 113. That's perfect. 112 is his break even, I think, on both Supercoach and Fantasy or so. So that's roughly what we want. And so that's pretty good. Then you've got Finn Callahan, 96. He was pretty good as well. It's interesting to see how this GWS midfield props up. And that'll be probably a big watch in round 0 when we get the official teams that they're going to be playing, etc. We'll know this, obviously the suspended players, etc. We'll get a better understanding of Tom Green, etc. and his scenario there. So that will be that. Lockie Ash, he seemed to be taking a little bit more of the sort of kick-in duty from what I saw. And so that was an interesting one to watch. So he ended up on a 95, break-even of 77. I just don't think you can possibly start him just because he feels like that up and down nature, much like I would suspect the Kane Farrell's going to be this year. Brett Daniels, 83, sort of expected. Ward Jones was a surprise pack at 78. I think he's one that could potentially become a 30-40% on baller as he grows into senior footy. Bedford, 71. I don't think he tagged. I need to get some more info on that, but I don't think he was tagging. But still, we get that round 0 watch with them against Collingwood. Connor O'Dun, 67, and that could be a wet game as well, so just be careful for Fantasy and Supercoach in terms of players' efficiency there in the wet. Lockie Keefe, Josh Kelly, 66, Leak, 66 as well. That was good to see. I just don't know, and I think I brought this up as a point on the live stream last night, was that Leak, it could be a case of him getting 1 or 2 games and then getting chucked after the bye, as Green should be back. Their suspended players should be back, so that's a big worry for him. Hogan, Cadman, Green, Grzeski, Himmelberg surprisingly low. O'Halloran, Stone, I think, is one that you can safely peg into that half-back role. I don't think there's going to be someone. I think he's, with him being the VFL Player of the Year, he's probably ahead of Faye, who is suspended as well. So he gets that clean run at it and the clean start. And I think that Stone should be surviving the first set of guys to come back. So I think he's a guy that can probably go plus 40 or so. I think it's still realistic to see him go 60 or so from that halfback role. He'll have some spike games. He'll also have some 50 games. That's just how halfbacks, when they first come in, really go. So I think he's a really good one. Buckley, nearly a really poor. Hannaford, Angrove was one of those guys I was talking about. I think he started in the VFL but didn't play much in the AFL. Taylor didn't need to do much. Where Ralston, another one as well, like that of Angove. and then Briggs decided not to front up because I believe he's ill. There's a lot of players that are like silently ill, I guess is the best way to put it. Then you get to the Carlton side. Camporelli, this is a winger, and I mentioned it that we saw with Davidson, 74, I think, in the first half, and then a 101 overall. So they can kind of go up, go down so quickly. So, and have really hot and cold starts. We saw O'Driscoll end on a 67 after a 0-point first quarter. Let's look at Camporelli, and I think you might see it. 39, 10, 27, 12. That's exactly what I'm saying. Hot, cold. And so he's definitely a guy that I'm looking at and considering. If he gets that start and isn't in the best, that'll be very, very good, as it will mean that we don't have to pay up necessarily for midfielders on the bench, with Smiley going down with a I don't know if they've classified it as a re-injury of a hamstring or just a slowdown of the return to play from the initial hamstring. I need to grab the wording for that. But if he's out, so we're going to be probably, and Harvey Langford's role didn't look the greatest, and you're probably going to want a winger over a half forward, but then again, Harvey Langford's getting CBA, so we'll talk about that when we get to him. But I'm probably not going to go with both the Melbourne boys, even though they might both play. Hewitt, 86, Haynes, Hollands, I thought was a little bit disappointing, 17 touches, 5 and 5. You really want those halfbacks to be getting the touches, and he just didn't. Lord, 20, but basically had a lot of time, as Chera and De Koning did nothing in the second half, if I remember correctly. Both sat the last and were both travelling towards 105s. So, yeah, they're both, Chera and De Koning are definitely in conversations. It's just a question of what's happening with, like, Dylan Shield and stuff like that with the opening round. You know, that could have a complex now if both Queensland games get called off, that you probably go for a Chera over a Shield. But if Shield comes out and scores a 105, you're probably going to side with Shield in that half-back role compared to a Chera on ball with the return of Paddy Cripps and Walsh soon. I know that Paddy Cripps did play 72%, but that's not his usual talk. He's still a little bit low, and if we go quarter by quarter, you'll see that, yeah, some of the quarters he didn't score too well. Cripps, Williams, Fantasia, I thought he was actually really, really good, but it's a small forward, not going to matter. Wiedering, Cottrell, Silvani, Fogarty, Doherty, really, really surprising. 54% for a set 47, sorry. That probably translates to if he's 80%, 85% told, to like a 75 or 70. Not the greatest, and I don't think that role is there for him to be conducive, but also we have to take into account this is preseason. He was on just get through it and just see how the body pulls up type of approach. So there's that. McGovern, Akers, Young, Cowan, Motlop, Elijah Hollands. He was very disappointing, but limited Tog. Mackay, 24%, 2 goals, and then just decided to, I think, sit at quarter time or something. Yeah, they sat him at quarter time. There was no need to play him after that. Carroll, and then Evans, 73%, Tog, 4-23. If I was to look at this game, big positives, probably Stone and Leake. Leake, you're probably going to get 2 games, the first 2 games out of him, so... And then you can kind of see the problem is, do you start him in Supercoach if he's going? That's the problem, is probably you can start him in Fantasy but not Supercoach. Connor Stone, pretty confident that he can be started on both platforms there. And then Camporelli is definitely a wait and watch depending on round 0 scores for. But we don't have many of the round 0. Well, we're probably watching the round 0 rookies in terms of the back line and the forward line, rather than the midfield, because a lot of the strong midfielders are not in round 0. So Camporelli, it'll basically just be, do I need more money on field, to be honest with you, and is his role not in the vest, etc. But we'll wait and see on that. The good thing is him playing early against the Tigers, he could, we'll know early as well about him, and if he's in the vest, then straight away just know. Which could happen. You could see that happening, him being in vest, which would be disappointing. But that's just a wait and watch, I guess. But anyway, wanted to keep this video quick and smart and get it out to you guys to catch you guys up, as you'll also be seeing GWS Sydney and Gold Coast Sydney and the 3 other games in today in an hour by hour release. So anyway, if you did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.